Let's get to coronavirus here, because we've had 2 weeks off, obviously. Situation has got critical again. Nobody could have watched that press conference with Boris Johnson and Whitty and Vallance the other day without feeling a shudder down our spine, could we? Because we know what happened back in March, April. We can see what these graphs show. We can see where things may get to in 2 to 3 weeks.
But also, Hillary, just before we talk to you, Dr. Hillary, nobody could have watched that press conference without thinking, hang on a moment, didn't 10 days ago Boris Johnson say a lockdown shouldn't happen in the House of Commons when Sir Keir Starmer had said we need to have
Well, Boris Johnson didn't just say he wasn't going to do a lockdown. He mocked the leader of the Labour Party. He openly mocked him in Parliament for even having the audacity to suggest a national lockdown. Let's see what Boris Johnson said.
And I may say that it is a bit incoherent of the right honourable gentleman opposite to attack local lockdowns when he wants to plunge the whole country, back into a damaging lockdown for weeks on end, and he has no clue about how he would propose to get the country out of that.
Right. So that's 12 days ago. That was October the 22nd. That's the Prime Minister of his country mocking the leader of the opposition for saying we should have a 2-3 week circuit breaker, which is what the SAGE Advisory Committee, the group of experts that report to the government, what they recommended back at the end of September, a 2 to 3 week circuit breaker. The Prime Minister, who follows the science, ignored the science. And the big question now is, how many people are going to die now in the next few weeks? Again, unnecessarily, because this Prime Minister dithered and delayed and got torn all sides of this debate and couldn't make a damn decision.
And how much damage is going to be done? Because SAGE scientists had suggested a couple of weeks circuit breaker. We now know it's going to be at least 4 weeks, but we don't even... I mean, Boris Johnson said that Keir Starmer didn't have a plan for getting out of the lockdown. We don't know what Boris Johnson's plan
Boris
for
Johnson
getting
hasn't
out
got a
of
plan
the
for
lockdown.
what day it is.
Michael Gove yesterday was asked, is this going to definitely end on December the 2nd?
Now, he says that, then Downing Street say, no. The gibbering, blithering fool then says, that's not what we meant at all. Well, what do you mean, Boris Johnson? Why have you delayed? What do you believe? What do you have to say about mocking the leader of the Labour Party for telling you to do what you're now doing 12 days later? It is a complete shambles. Obviously, we would love to talk to Boris Johnson directly or any one of his cabinet ministers, but we are now day 188 of the government's boycott of Good Morning Britain, which is pathetic and gutless, a dereliction of their democratic duty. You pay their wages. You viewers, ITV viewers, should be entitled to answers to questions which affect your lives and your livelihoods. But no, they're too gutless to appear. Let's bring in Hillary. Well, first of all, how are you, Hillary?
I'm good, thank you. How are you, Piers?
Good. This situation with the coronavirus cases, looking at all the graphs, and they're all, some of them are incomprehensible, but I did take time to go and study them all. What is quite clear is that the second wave of this is escalating at a frightening speed. And the reason they brought everything forward now in such a dramatic fashion is because they can see that we are heading not just to where we were back in March, April, but we are heading to a situation that might be twice as bad as that, was the line they used, or worse.
And the particular graph, which I think alarmed everybody, was this one with the huge peak of potential deaths at 4,000 deaths a day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's absolutely horrific, Dr. Hillary, if that is even a possibility.
Yes, I mean, what it shows is that it could be worse than the worst-case scenario they predicted just a couple of weeks ago. The stats are worrying. A lot of people take issue with statistics. They say, the data is so wide-ranging, we can't believe anything we're told. But what you can't argue with is the number of hospitalisations, which are escalating rapidly, and the accelerating increase in the number of cases across the country on the ONS survey. These are figures that have alarmed the scientists sufficiently to say we need a lockdown and we need it now, just as they've had in Belgium and France and Germany, where they tend to believe their scientists and their medical advisors perhaps more than we do. But the figures are alarming, and I think that it was inevitable that we were to go into a lockdown. A lot of people would have said we should have done it earlier, because once the cat is out of the bag and you've got so many cases in the public, it's very difficult to get that under control and recover from that. We can recover from that, but a lockdown is needed. It's likely, I think, to be extended. Nobody can promise when it can end, because we just don't know how the virus is going to behave, how the population behaves, and whether people abide by the restrictions that are being imposed. To me, they seem very sensible. This is still a nasty virus. Nothing's changed. We don't have rapid testing. We don't have a vaccine. We're back to where we were. And I don't think we should necessarily criticise anybody for that, because it was always a question of get this under control, protect the NHS and move forward. There is cause for hope. There are green shoots of hope with vaccines, with rapid testing, but we're not there yet.
No.
But we have to have a cause for reality. And to these people who just want to put their head in the sand, you know, hide away and say, this is not happening, I refuse to let this bother me and my lifestyle, I want to go partying. I want to show some video footage. This is from Bristol. This is a rave at the weekend. This rave had 700
hundreds
people.
And hundreds of
and
people.
the police had to be called. Look at this.
Super spreader event, if ever I saw one.
And that's young people just saying, we don't care. We don't care. We're kind of impervious to it. If we get it, so what? It's not going to kill us. Even though the latest figures in the Sunday Times yesterday showed that one of the fastest growing age groups that they're seeing in some parts of the Northwest are women between 20 and 40. I mean, this is the reality. You're not impervious, you're not immune, young people. And by the way, when you all get it at these super spreader events and then you go and have contact with anybody in an older, vulnerable group, in a shop, in a garage, maybe you go back to your family, whatever it may be, what do you think happens? Do you think the virus knows, oh, I'll just stick on the young ones? Or do you think it jumps, then, to older, more vulnerable people who may then die? Think about that when you have your little raves in Bristol.
I think it's very difficult for people who've not been touched by the virus themselves. They don't know anybody directly who's suffered. They don't have a parent or a grandparent who suffered. They find it difficult to imagine the nastiness, the virulence of this virus. And it's a lack of imagination. But when you see scenes like that, you know, doctors and nurses working on the frontline hospitals just, you know, are horrified. They are expected to pick up the pieces of that behaviour. Because just one of those people can give it to 10 others, 20 others, who will give it to 20 more.
Well,
and that's how it snowballs.